I think we might be heading towards a dark age of anti-intellectualism, especially when the American vice president said the professors are the enemy. Now, this isn't the first time that a government has preferred non-intellectual virtues such as loyalty, patriotism, duty, purity, and blood. But unless you're an electric car manufacturer, you probably don't want to be associated with that. Now, I'm a D&D science guy. I tend not to make a lot of videos on politics, mostly because I just repost what other people have said much better than I have. But I want to talk about why anti-intellectualism is so important to them, and then ways that you as an individual might be able to help against it. Now, the first big reason they do this is because they're wrong. If something is complicated and hard to understand on an individual level, then they can look at something like, let's say, climate change, and just say, use your common sense, it's not happening, despite the mountains of evidence. Or when they tell you that there's only two genders, despite the fact that even sex, which is different to gender, is a bimodal distribution, meaning there's a lot of variation in there, and we just see that all the time. And being wrong is all well and good if it suits your political agenda, until some professor comes in and says, no, you're lying and you're misinformed, and then explains why. They don't want that. They don't like that. And that's a real issue for them, because if you start listening to the expert, then you're going to realize they're wrong, and not just wrong, obviously wrong. So they have to resort to things like calling them the enemy, so that you immediately discredit everything they're saying and don't listen when they start explaining. They might also say you're corrupt or faking your evidence or a member of some target group they don't like. And that way, if an expert or someone talking about the expert's opinion starts explaining something, you've got all this ammunition to immediately throw it away and rely back on your common sense. There's also a few other reasons, like they don't want you actually thinking critically, and that's what a lot of degrees teach. Sometimes they go after specific intellectuals rather than all of them at once. They don't go after doctors, they go after doctors who make vaccines. Though from what I can tell, this is just the opening gambit. So what can you do? Well, there's a few things, but it is difficult. Read anything, honestly. Non-fiction, fiction, doesn't matter, just keep reading. If you can read, you can learn, and even if you're just practicing, that's valuable. If you're interested in something, especially if it's a scientific field, you can actually reach out to some of the experts in that. They're on social media. You might even be able to email them. I know a lot of the articles are behind paywalls, but if you just email someone, they'll probably send you a free version. The other thing you've got to do is make sure you're not putting down different studies. STEM degrees are not inherently better. Trust me, I did one. All education is valuable, especially in the arts. And I do think there's a push for generative AI in some ways because they want to fight against that, but that's a whole other video. But if someone's only attacking the person making the argument and not the argument itself, you've got to call that out. And make a mental check that whatever they're arguing is probably wrong in part or whole. And if you want to learn more, look it up. Without using an AI bot, being able to research will be a very important skill in the coming years. Anyway, sorry for this rant, but genuinely stay safe. It's more important than ever to build strong communities, both online and in person. Look out for one another, stay safe, and have a lovely day. Okay, bye.